Welcome to everyone. I am Mary of Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe, coming to you from Westerville, Ohio, which is in the Columbus area. Today is my Fun Fold Friday demonstration, so we'll get to that project in just a moment. Yesterday, I introduced another class to go, and this one features the Sunny Sentiments stamp set. And this is included in your class to go. The class is $36, includes the stamp set, and then it includes cardstock, ribbon, embellishments, etc., pre-cut for you to make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs. And they're just really sunny and bright, cheerful cards. And it's hard to see on the video, but 2 of these use the thanks and hello embossing folders. So I was excited to put those new embossing folders to use. It's a pair of 2 embossing folders. And they're about, 3.25, 3.5 inches wide, but really fun to work with. I'm going to be doing some demonstrations with those in the next week or 2. All right. Today I am featuring the, I have to think of the name of it, Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper, which you have seen me showcase before. And it coordinates with the Beauty of Friendship bundle. And then this is not part of the same suite, I don't think. Maybe it is. But Inspired Thoughts. I seem to always grab these 2 bundles together. I just really like all the sentiments in here. And then you get a different kind of die cut, almost like a tree line, I would say, that will cut several trees at once. So that's what we're using today. Here's a quick peek of the Fun Fold card, and it is a pocket card. So I'm going to show you how to make this, give you all the dimensions. While I flip my camera around, if you have not shared this video yet, I would appreciate it if you do so. Okay, all set. So I've got pieces and parts cut already. I have a piece of Designer Series paper, and it is going to go this direction. So if your paper is directional, think about that when you're cutting it, because I wouldn't want it going the other way with my trees going sideways. So just be aware of that when you cut it. I'm making a vertical card. And this measures 5¼ inches by 12. 5¼ inches by 12. Then I have a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock, and this is going to be the base. This is what I'm putting my envelope or pocket card on. I should say pocket card, not envelope. And this measures 4¼ by 5½ inches. So the finished card is our standard 5½ by 4¼ inches. And then I have a piece of, and double check this, Early Espresso. This is 4¾ by 3½ 4¾ by 3½. And then my white, or whatever you want to use for neutral. In fact, some of our other neutrals like, vanilla would work, crumb cake, Sahara sand. You might even want to incorporate one of those colors instead of white. But this neutral, or this white, measures 4½ by 3¼ inches. 4½ by 3¼ inches. This strip measures 3¼ inches by 1/2 inch. And it's just going to be part of a little something to go on the base. So let me set these aside for now. And you're going to start with your Designer Series paper. Again, this measures 5¼ by 12 inches. And I'm going to score it at 4 inches and 8 inches. 4 inches and 8 inches. Now I need to make a couple of diagonal cuts. So I'm going to flip this over to the reverse side, and I'm going to use a pencil, and I'm just going to make, this line here is 2 inches. I'm going to make a little mark at the 2-inch measurement on each of the sides, each of those short sides. Now, and I'll fold this a little bit so you can see better. I'm going to make 2 angled cuts. I'm going to go from the 2 inches to that top corner. And same thing over here, the 2-inch mark to the top corner. And to do that, I'm just going to put the top corner right where that score line is, the top of that score line, and I want it in this cutting scoring groove. And then I want the 2-inch mark I just made with my pencil to also sit in that same groove. Oops, and this I'm going to cut away. Turn your paper and do the same thing on the other side. The top of the score line should be in that cutting scoring groove, as well as my 2-inch pencil mark. So now I'm ready to fold on those score lines. Go ahead and use your bone folder to burnish those folds nicely. And right here is where we're going to adhere these pieces so that they stayed closed like a pocket. And to do that, and I'm going to simplify because I don't want to put any glue on that centerpiece. I want to keep this as wide as possible so that my insert fits nicely the way I have it measured out. And it really doesn't matter if you do left over right, right over left. It really does not make a difference at all, just in where you're putting your cardstock or putting your adhesive. So I'm going to fold one panel over, and you saw I'm only adhering at the very bottom, and I just used a very fine line of multi-purpose glue. That's because I want that, again, I don't want to, if I go up higher with the glue, that's going to shorten my insert. This way I can make it fit nicely in there without sticking up too much or having to trim it down. Now, and I'm going to leave this side alone because when I adhere this one, it's automatically going to hold that edge in place. So now I'm going to add adhesive to the bottom left panel and the left side of that panel, that short side. And I'm just going to press it down. I should have my silicone mat out. So now I have this nice size pocket. And the finished size measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. On my sample, I used some twine, and this came from the Baker's Twine Essential Pack, 5 different colors included in the one package. It's in the annual catalog. But for this card, I thought I'm going to change it up a little bit and use some of this bumblebee gingham ribbon, because I just think this will really look sharp here. So what I'm going to do is wrap this around and I'm going to tie a bow on the front, kind of off to the right side. And I know many of you are thinking right now, oh, there goes Mary again. She wants us to make a bow on our project. Yes, I do, because yes, you can. But I'm going to give you a couple of tips. Make sure you have length of ribbon that's long enough to work with. You should be able to play with those loops and ties, pulling them and such until you get the size of the bow and ends that you want. And then, now if you find that it's too loose, which is easy, can happen easily. In fact, I did it with this one. I'm going to show you what to do. This is not too bad. It's not too loose, but I still am going to show you what to do. If it's too loose and this is kind of hanging in the front, what you want to do is pull off 2 pieces of Scotch tape. And you just want to kind of pull your ribbon or your twine taut. And there will be, you'll see, there will be some excess right in the center. I do like to cut that just so it lays flat. And then that's not moving around. See how secure that is? And I didn't have to fuss with putting glue or anything on the front. So think about that the next time you are wrapping ribbon and tying bows, because it can be tricky. And it just takes practice. You know, people say, oh, Joyce, thank you. She says she loves bows too. And, you know, the more you make, the better you get at it. So don't give up. Don't get frustrated if you're having trouble with bows. Just keep on going and keep on learning and practicing. Now I'm ready to adhere my pocket. Trying to avoid that Scotch tape because that's just gonna make a mess if I put the glue over the Scotch tape. So I'm going to adhere the pocket to that mossy meadow cardstock base. And remember that base was cut 5.5 by 4.25 inches. So now the finished card will be exactly the same size as all the other cards we make using a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'll set this aside for now, and I'll go ahead and do the sentiment. This one says, and I got it from the Inspired Thoughts stamp set. It says, it's your time to be remembered, to feel appreciated, and to know you're celebrated. And I just like this because you can use it for so many different things. It could be used for birthdays, congratulations, a retirement, just, you know, a general, I'm thinking of you and so happy I have you in my life kind of sentiment. But I'm going to stamp this with Mossy Meadow ink on basic white cardstock. I just re-inked this, so it's a little bit juicy. I'm going to give it a moment to dry. And then I'm going to punch it out with, oh, I knew I was going to forget the name. I want to say Classic Label Punch, but I don't think that's correct. And I'm sure you have many different punches that will fit this. There's also many different dies that we have that you could use to cut out your sentiments as well. Then I'm going to adhere this to the front of my pocket. And I'm putting adhesive on the top and bottom. I like to do this when I'm going over ribbon because if I put the dimensionals right here and they lay right on top of the ribbon, that can make this move a little bit. So this way it will stay in place and so will my ribbon. It's okay if they overlap like that. In fact, I kind of like it that way. Kind of connects them, brings them together. And the final thing I'm going to do for my pocket is add some gilded gems. And I really like these with this designer series paper. You know, we think of this paper as being real rustic. And even the twine I used on the first one, we think of it as being rustic, but you can switch out the ribbon and use a more shiny, bright embellishment, and it just changes out the look. And just like you do in your home, you mix old and new and fancy with maybe the shabby chic, that sort of thing. You can do that with your cards as well. Now I want to show you how to make the insert, because you need a place to write your message. So again, this piece measures 4.5 by 3.25 inches. 4.5 by 3.25 inches. And you know that if you want to stamp an image or a sentiment on this, you would want to do it before adhering it to your cardstock base or your mat, your larger layer. So the early espresso layer is 4.75 by 3.5. So I have 4.5 by 3.25, and then 4.75 by 3.5. I did cut just a little 1/2 inch by 3.5 inch strip of the designer series paper. You could match it up, or you could use the inside one, or do a completely different one from the same set, or one of the color family 6x6 DSPs. Okay, now I need something to pull this out. And there's different things you can do. You can punch a piece of cardstock or something and adhere it on there so it sticks up a little bit. You can use the twine like I did here. I'm going to use the ribbon so it matches the bow and the ribbon I used on the front. So to do this, I'm just going to use my little handy paper trimmer, because I often use this just for the measuring. And I want, let me turn it this way so you can see better. And I'm not reading upside down. So basically, this whole thing measures 3.5 inches wide. Half of 3.5 is 1.75. So I'm just going to make a mark. I don't even know if you can see it. It's just a teeny tiny, well, can't get it out. A teeny tiny mark with the tip of my piercing tool right there. And I'm just going to push my piercing tool through, because this is a little bit wider than the twine. I just kind of rolled that around to make the hole a little bit bigger to fit my ribbon. Now here's another trick. This is something that I learned about as a little girl from my grandma Bayless. She mostly did crocheting and stuff, so I can't really think of why, or I guess maybe she did the granny squares, so I guess maybe sewing the squares together. I don't know. I just don't really remember her just like doing true sewing. Does that make sense? So this is called a needle threader. It's just a really thin piece of metal, I guess. And it's got this tiny, thin, flexible wire on it. Can you see that? I'll hold it like this. So this works great for small holes. So I'm going to suggest you hit up the craft store or a sewing store and get one of these needle threaders. But what it does is, and you can go from front or back, just like that. And And it's great for, you know, if you're mending or something and you have to put thread through the little eye of the needle. And I don't know if you're like me, but my eyes are getting worse and worse every year. Oops, I just pulled it apart. That's not good. Okay, well, forget that. It worked great for the other one, and I think I just broke it. Yes, I did. I'll have to see if I can repair it. But truly, do get one of those because it's awesome. And sorry about that. Gosh, I was so excited to show you that because I use it a lot down here, but I don't think I've ever shown it. Well, darn. So you make, or dental flosser. Oh, yes. Great idea, Sally. I have those upstairs in my bathroom. Oh, that's awesome. So I don't have to go buy it. So if you have dental flossers at home, you don't need to buy the needle threader. But one or the other, whichever one, I highly suggest that you keep one in your craft room for moments like this. Oh, that just made my day, Sally. Thank you so much for sharing that idea. And I love learning hacks like that. Save us money and time and make things easier for us. And then I put this in the pocket and trim off what you want. You don't really have to worry about it being too long and going beyond the base and fitting in your envelope because you can just tuck it over. So no big deal. So just like that, write a message, fit it into your envelope. I think I have one right here. But I wanted to show you because sometimes people question me, does it really fit in those envelopes? Do I have to buy special envelopes? Do I have to make an envelope? No, you don't. It still turns out to be the same size. Okay. So I hope you have enjoyed this card making demonstration today. I guess I'll throw this away because I'll use a floss threader from now on. And if you would like to win a card, please make sure that you comment and that you share. Oh, Sally, good idea. Keep a whole package in your kit because they get lost so easily. You are right. Those little floss threaders or the needle threaders are easy to lose. But I will be giving away this card to one lucky winner. And I hope to see you all back with me on Monday at 11 a.m. I have no idea what project we'll be doing that week, but I'm sure I'll come up with something awesome that you will love. So thanks for being with me today and letting me show you how to make a pocket card. And have a great weekend. Bye-bye.